It's time for some fall garden maintenance here at the Rock and Sea Homestead. Hey folks, welcome back to the Rock and Sea Homestead. My name is Lance, and today we're going to do some fall gardening. We got to get our peas tied up. They're getting a little leggy out here, and they're just in kind of no man's land. We're going to try to get them up and stringed up, and so they can start trellising up the cattle panel. So we're going to work on that, plus we're going to show you some other stuff around the garden. So come along and let's get this stuff done. So Mars came up with this idea of getting these things kind of tied up and strung up, and we're kind of just using a little piece of little dowel rod that we cut up, and we're kind of having a string tied to that sticking in the ground, and then we're tying it up to here, and we're trying to wrap it around and get this pea plant to hold on to it and hopefully attach itself and go up the string and up to the trellis, and then off in its own little path there. So that's what we're working on. We've got 2 of them done so far. Just try to test it out, and it seems to be working pretty good. So like I said, all I did is take a little dowel rod like this, and I just cut it with my circular saw. And we're going anywhere from like 4 to 5 inches, something like that. And we're just trying to put it in the ground somewhat close to where the roots are. And then just trying to wrap it around gently, just to give this thing something to think about. And hopefully it'll grab onto it. It's trying to grab onto itself right now, and it's not liking it. There we go. And then I'm just trying to bring it up and just do some little square knots, nothing fancy. Just something to keep it tight, and then hopefully that will cause that plant to think about going up and up and up. And then hopefully at some point it will grow up the trellis. We won't have to worry about it. So we're over here in our bean little bed, bean and carrots. So we got a little bit of carrots coming up, and then these are all beans. And we're not quite sure exactly the best way to actually how to tie these up or to keep them from flopping over. So we're just going to take some dowel rods and kind of tie string loosely onto them, just kind of keep them upright. So hopefully at that point the plant will get a little bit more growth in it and can stand up by itself. If not, we'll get more dowel rods and get taller ones. We'll see. First time growing it, so it's all an experiment for us. But we had some extra little dowel rods, so we're just kind of using some bigger ones and thicker ones. I don't think it really matters, just enough so it just keeps it up and makes it grow straight. So that's what we're doing. All right, so we're finished up with our beans, and now we're back to our second pea patch. And I think on this one, we're just gonna try to tie little strings to the base of the plant and just try to string them up to our little trellis here. We'll see how that works. We'll let you know if it doesn't work, or another video, you'll see it. So come on, let's get this done. So after trying to tie each one of these plants, we went to plan B and decided just to kind of run some lines back and forth and hopefully they will attach to that and start growing up. That's all we can do. I mean, they're just all intermingled and intertwined at this point. We're just hoping for the best at this point and kind of going with it. So we'll see if it works. If you guys have any better ideas, leave it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So now, since we're done with a couple of our chores, we're just going to kind of give you guys a quick garden tour. So this is our bed that's right in front of the house. The one that I'm standing in front of right now has our 2 different chives and our lavender and curry plant, but it doesn't produce the curry that you get when you buy curry seasoning. That's actually a blend of different, but it smells like curry. It smells like that. So we're not quite for sure what to do with it other than let it grow. If you guys know of anything that you use it for, let us know, and then what you do. I mean, it's looking healthy, smells really good, but I don't know what to do with it. So, and then our sage bush, it's not a plant anymore, it's a bush. And we've cut this thing back multiple times. It needs to be cut back again. And our thyme is looking really good. We need to cut some of that out because time's about to run out. That was bad. That was a bad joke. Marcy's looking at me all funny. And then of course we have the mint. We have a spearmint right over there that's going crazy. Marcy needs to trim that up and get some more dried. And so chocolate mint's going crazy. It's going outside of its little container. And the basil's looking really, really good. And the stevia is bolting on us, so we need to figure out what to do with that, get that cut back. And we had a couple volunteer, I think they're called vincas, I think that's what Marcy called them, come up from last year. They're all in this bed. So we had one over here, and then we had one over here in our walkway that came up. And hey, they look pretty and they're blooming well, so we'll keep it up. And again, you guys have seen this. The carrots are starting to kind of come up a little bit, and then our beans are looking really good as well. So over here on our hanging pots, everything looks like it's still growing pretty good. The rosemary is looking really, really good. The oregano, we cut it back pretty good, but it is coming back, not as well as I thought it may. And then our lemon balm, it's going good. It just, you know, there's some bad spots and some good spots. We probably need to trim it back. And as you can see, the tomato plants are going crazy still. I had a lot of new growth down here. Some spots are getting bad, but there's so many areas where there's new growth and areas that are have a ton of blooms. I hate to micromanage it too much and cut too much out right now. So right now we're kind of living in the old icky past and the new bright future. So we'll see how that works out. But I tell you, our new plant that we planted at the very end of summer is doing really, 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 really well. I mean, it's already up this tall, and we got some pretty big fruit happening on it already. I think we've had to pull one of them off because there was a bug got in it or some kind of hole got in it. But other than that, it's looking really, really good. Hopefully these things will, oh, here's a nice one in here. So hopefully these things will get bigger and we can actually get them to ripen before the frost. So our first frost is, you know, somewhere in the 1st of November to the mid of November for our first frost and freeze. So we still have a good month and a half. So hopefully we can make it through all that. Well, you've already seen our peas over here that we tied up, but we do have some radishes right here. And this is our first time growing them. They're getting really leggy and they have this big red part. Is that normal? Is that something that it's supposed to look like? Or is this supposed to be all the way buried up to that portion of it? So if you guys know, let us know in the comments, because we're curious to see if these things are going good or not. So I know we had some bug damage or something happened to eat the leaves off some of these. So we're going to plant another row of them here probably the next day. And then probably here in a couple weeks, these will be ready to pull. So hopefully those are what they're supposed to look like. Let us know. We'd like to know. All right, so we're over here in the beet and okra bed at this point. I think we have one little cucumber plant I need to tear down, or not cucumber, but cantaloupe. But the beets started to come up. Of course, they have a red stem on it as well. And it looks like something has been kind of chewing on them. And they have these little red dots. I'm not for sure if that's normal. I would say no. But if you guys know what that is, and if that's something to worry about, or something that we can maybe put on that to defend off that, whatever that is, would appreciate that if you guys could let us know. But we are giving it a try. We may add some more beets in here, especially once we pull up some of this okra. You know, we're kind of done with the okra. We haven't really done a very good job of picking it in time. It's still growing good. Some of the plants look better than others, but at this point I'm just trying to grow the longest one, and this is a pretty good one. So now if you talk about the largest plant, I mean, these things are taller than I am. I mean, they start 3 feet off the ground, but they are taller than I am. So for those that are doing the Samson challenge, what's the ruling on that? Is it from the ground or from where they plant? I'm sure from the ground, but they're still pretty tall. But I got some pretty large okra. Here pretty soon I'm just gonna go through and pull all these up and just be done with them so we can plant some other stuff in here. So over here with our row of peppers and our tomato plants that we put in little pots, and these things were going like gangbusters. I've noticed that the banana peppers are turning a little yellow again. We had that once before, so I may need to fertilize this or put some fish emulsion on it or something. But something happened there. But the bell peppers are still going good. We have 3 or 4 pieces of fruit on each one of these. And I feel in the pepper soup coming on again here pretty soon. And then our tub, the self-wicking tub has worked really, really, really well. I'm gonna actually do just a video just on that, on how well this thing has grown. And I mean, our tomatoes are still producing. We got to pick some, and I need to tie some up. Now, very similar to the other tomatoes, we have some that are, parts of it are dying off, but we have some more that are blooming out. So I hate to cut it all out when we're still getting some. And I'd still like to get some lettuce and tomatoes at the same time sometime this year. So that's my goal. Now, the one tomato plant that's seemed to make a comeback and thrive in bizarre crazy here is this one that's in this little wooden tub, and this thing is going insane. It went up and we put on some extra holders, but this thing's almost back to the ground from where it was. I think this thing is probably 12, 13 feet tall if we stretch it all the way out. So I just don't have anything tall enough and strong enough to hold that. So we're just letting this kind of free range at this point, and just trying to pick as much of these tomatoes as we need to. We need to come in here and get some of these things picked off. They're super ripe at this point. But as you can tell, that thing is still going good, and it's kind of overshadowing some of the peppers over here, some of the shishitos and the hot banana peppers. And I don't know, yeah, there's some coming on. We got some good hot banana peppers back there. And then of course, some more bell peppers and some more banana peppers over here. So over here, you can see the cucumbers are spent. I left a couple of them on. I'm letting those ripen up for the chickens. I'm gonna go throw those over to the chickens here in a little bit, give them a little snack to eat before bedtime tonight. And they're pretty much all done. So we're just gonna pull all this stuff out. We may actually have to use the post for a temporary fence for the boys here in a week. So we need to get this cleared out anyways. But hey, the cucumbers we planted late, but man, we had a great, successful planting, harvesting, and preserving of these. And then the okra over here, this 2 rows here is what we planted by hand. And you know, about 5 of them really did come on, and they're producing really well. Like I said, we just can't keep up with the okra. You know, we didn't really find a good way to preserve it. We never got probably now we're getting enough of it. If we pick it on the right time to do some preserving and those kind of things, we just never got in a rhythm of that. So unfortunately, a lot of these are going in the compost or the chickens or whoever, but I have some pretty good long ones in here. So, but these aren't very tall plants, and you can definitely tell the difference between the ones that were grown out here in the ground versus the ones that were grown over in the bed with the super soil. And just the stalks and the plant itself is much bigger and seems more healthier, but you know, that super soil really does make a difference. So if you guys haven't checked out that video, there'll be a link up top for you guys to check that out. Hey guys, if you didn't see our live stream on Friday, You'll need to go back and check it out. I'll put a link right up here. But the reason why you need to catch it is we're doing a giveaway this next Friday. We're going to do a live stream every Friday going forward at 7 p.m. Oklahoma time, that's Central Time, and here in the United States. And the giveaway, what we decided to do was to make sure that everybody had multiple chances to enter with different prizes. We're going to give away a little miniature planter that looks just like this. And then we're going to give away some other stuff to go along with that. Plus we got some other little, we got a cookbook, a couple cookbooks we're going to give away, t-shirts and those kind of things. So stay around, make sure you do that. But in that video, you had to say a word, or you had to type that word in the comments. So make sure you watch that video, you put that in the comments. And on this video, you have a chance to win as well. So in this video, you have to work the word tomato into your comment. So to be entered, for one more chance to be entered into the contest for Friday, you have to type the word tomato somewhere in your comment down below. And of course, we definitely would like for you guys to share this out. If you know of anybody that likes this kind of content, so want to be a part of our journey, please share it out. We'd really appreciate that. Maybe they can get onto the contest as well. We'd definitely appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber yet, that link will be right down here. Of course, you can always catch us on Facebook and Instagram. Those links are down below and in the description. And from our homestead to yours, have a blessed night, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.